Smash that limiter!
God damn it. I seriously need a new computer. Everything stopped working. Everything except for the stream. That was funny.
Wow.
Everything stopped working except for the stream. So my mic, my keyboard, my webcam, everything just fucking died. That's why I don't know if you noticed the volume of the music was going up and down like crazy.
No, I didn't notice that.
Didn't notice it? Yeah, the keyboard was fucking up. It was I don't know. I had to reopen IQ and Logitech, and then I had to go into the settings of the of like the USB bus and troubleshoot it, and then I found out what was going on. And
oh,
whoa! And now your mic's fucking up.
Yeah, no, it's something I've had for a little while now. Is that sometimes it just goes full distorted.
Yeah,
and I don't know why exactly.
Fair enough. All right, cool. All right, so that's working. Keyboard Nat's working back on track. I think what I need to do is I need to actually. Oh my god, that's what broke everything.
Oh my god,
it was fucking Logitech.
Oh wow.
My god, Logitech, fix your shit. All right, cool. So Logitech was trying to do a update on the microphone, and whenever that happens, it crashes the entire USB bus system.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to episode fucking 18.
That out of the way.
I seriously need a new computer though. I got the case on the way. So excited. So I can't wait to build in that monstrosity.
Hell yeah. We'll put it all together and then it'll be good as gold.
Oh yeah, it would be nice to actually have a desktop computer rather than a laptop, that's for sure. I mean, the laptop's like done. It's fucking like it's more than paid for what it cost. And Ray put it through its pace, and then I get it and I put it through its case. So yeah, I'm not knocking it, but it isn't designed to last as long as a desktop computer, that's for sure. Speaking of exciting news to do with computers, since this is kind of an age of uncertainty for the gaming community, which a lot of you probably don't know about. A lot of the developers for making computer hardware are kind of going away from gaming, going towards AI, which I'm an X mentioned it as well. Unfortunately, what that means is NVIDIA is pretty much going to control the market when it comes to high-end gaming, because AMD is pulling out of the high-end gaming stuff. So we're only going to get mid-range stuff, which is fine for people like me and Spliffy, because we don't like to spend money.
It's not that I don't like to spend money. I like to allocate resources where they're needed. I don't need a graphics card that costs as much as a computer to get things working.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather take that money and put it towards like audio stuff as well.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if I could afford a 4090, I'd get a 4090. But I don't want a 4090. I'd much rather like an AMD 79 XTX over a 4090 any day of the week. But anyway, back to good news. So, Intel has released their 14th gen specs.
Yeah.
And it's a refresh of Raptor Lake, which means they might keep the same socket.
Oh.
Which would be like, I mean, it was already weird that 12th and 13th gen share the same socket. But if they bring out 14th gen and it takes the same socket, that's going to be like a new thing for Intel to do that. But from what the specs looks like, they haven't... the core count they haven't touched, so I assume is going to be the same as the 13th gen in terms of the core count. but what they're changing is the efficiency and the clock speeds. Because at the moment, the problem with Intel is it runs fucking hot. And it's not actually Intel's fault either. Okay, so to clear things up, viewers, AMD and Intel, all the issues that have turned up over the years to do with their CPUs have had nothing to do with the CPUs themselves. It's all the fucking motherboard manufacturers. So I found out today that motherboard manufacturers are disabling all the safeguards for the CPU. So the reason why
that's not gonna end
your
well, is it?
Intel 13th 900K is running at fucking is it really? Oh, that sucks. The reason
Starfield modding is rough. I mean, I've actually recently gotten into modding as well, more recently or not, but we'll save that for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. So the reason why you're finding the 13th 900K CPUs running at 100 degrees and thermal throttling and pulling fucking 300 watts is because the motherboard manufacturers have basically disabled all the safeguards. If you go into the settings and you tell the motherboard to have the safeguards active for the CPU, you'll find that you will actually get better clock speeds on your CPU, and you'll find your CPU will be a lot more manageable in heat. That is why
the BIOS, right?
No, you actually have to download a patch and shit like that to do it. No, more like you could either download it directly from the motherboard manufacturer, or the easiest thing to do is honestly just download MSI Afterburner and underclock it, like undervolt it, I should say.
Right.
Because the problem is like the motherboard manufacturers want it to be reliable, so it's kind of like what they do with cars. Like car manufacturers out of the factory will run the car default rich, so they know it's reliable. No matter what, the car will run. That's their idea.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
It's motherboard manufacturers do the exact same thing. No matter what, it'll run if we provide more power than what's necessary. And that's the reason why you get these crazy temps. So, in the latest AMD CPUs and Intel CPUs, like, they're running hot because the motherboard is forcing more volts than needed. So that's why you undervolt it to then get it more efficient. Which is kind of like you do in a car. You know, you buy a car, you want it to run more efficient, you do a tune and you lean up a little bit and you get more power and you get more better fuel economy. So, yeah. Just a little interesting fact that I learnt. And Starfield modding is rough. Is it rough on your computer, or is it like... So what you mean, just right?
Difficult to actually get it to accept the modded files.
Well, you can... Steam has it on it. No, it's just a pain in the ass. Oh, that sucks. Really? Oh, yeah, that's right, because modding hasn't... The support for modding hasn't started yet. What mods you... A mod organizer. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like mod manager.
Mod managers to be just fine. Like, you know, as long as... I don't even know what they rely on. But
it is a brand new game, so it probably won't have a very good one.
No, I sincerely doubt. And it is a massive game by the looks of it, with a lot of information. Yeah. So actually getting something to work for something that big is probably going to be a
It'll be like the old days of Skyrim mods, man. They were fucking they were rough as guts before they made it incorporated mods in the system. Yeah. I really as soon as I get the new computer sorted, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save up money, I'm gonna buy a VR headset, and then I'm gonna go on Skyrim VR, and then I'm gonna bitch slap all the NPCs. Slap them around. Slap around. I want to grab someone by the nose and be like, I got your nose, I got your nose.
Just accidentally send your fucking hand through the wall.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. Oh, shit. Yeah, you did point out a fatal flaw in my theory.
What?
I have no room in here. I can't really use VR in this environment. I will be knocking on furniture and probably fucking knock into some of these swords here. By the way, if those who haven't noticed, these are swords up here. I'm sure you've noticed, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's going to be great. You're either going to send your hand through the wall or into a sword. You choose, I guess.
Yeah, I got some nice swords. I also have some Papua New Guinean stuff as well. Like this thing here.
Of course, you got it working because that's just what you do.
It's a little kid's bow. Look how cute it is. This is real. This is like a real New Guinean bow. They use like I think it's the reeds. You know, like the ones that like grow near the like the wetlands and stuff like that. I think it's that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what they use as bowstring. But yeah, it's a kid's bow. And then these are their arrows that are for it. This is a
Oh wow,
I think this is
that looks deadly.
I think this is a possum one. I think for killing marsupials. And then the fish one.
It's gonna kill something. That's for certain.
And then the fish one is this one here. It's the fish one. I think they use these. I think they use these for possums and bats. But yeah, these are real. These are New Guinean. My pop had them for years because see, my old man lived in New Guinea. He grew up in New Guinea.
Yeah. New Guinea. Okay.
Papua New Guinea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I totally misheard you. I think you said New Guinea.
No, Papua New Guinea.
Which is like, where the hell is New Guinea? I've never heard of this community before. And then you said New Guinea. Like, oh, I have heard of those.
Yeah.
People
So
before.
he grew up there when he was grew up when he was 12 to when he was like 17 or something like that. So he spent large majority of his childhood like living there. So he used to hear a lot of cool stories and stuff like that.
I bet.
He's so his parents were missionaries over there and ran out of pop. And his neighbor was a New Guinean who he described to me the house was weird. It's like one of those 2-story houses, but like there was a house below it that belonged to his neighbor. Yeah. And his neighbor was a New Guinean, and I can't remember what he said that he did, but he used to hunt fruit bats, like, flying foxes.
Yeah.
And they were always in the backyard because their backyard like had a creek and a river system and like heaps of fruit trees. Because in New Guinea, because it's volcanic, it's really rich soil, so you can basically grow anything in there. Sweet potatoes are kind of their specialty over there. And and he was saying that when he was a kid, one day his neighbor decided to pull a prank on him. And as he was walking out the front yard heading to school, a dead flying fox was dropped out from a tree on a string in front of him and scared the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, that he wouldn't even matter what it was at that point. It would scare the crap out of you.
Yeah, and then his neighbor was like sitting at the front of his like balcony, just like cracking up laughing. I thought that would be funny. That would have been funny to see. Yeah, actually, kind of a fun story about that. Actually,
yeah.
New Guinea. So in New Guinea, my dad and his friends and whatnot, like they would all he made friends with all the local kids and stuff like that, the New Guineans, and so they'll go exploring all the time. And in Papua New Guinea, a lot of people don't know that there was Papua New Guinea was like the last staging event for Japan's invasion of Australia. So Japan got into West Papua and then got into New Guinea, and they were trying to get into Australia through New Guinea because it's not a very long distance. So they were trying to take New Guinea and then set up base of operations there and then attack Australia. That was their idea. So our troops and some of the there's some Americans there, but not many. That was our Australia New Zealand last point of defense until basically Australia's taken. So there's like warplanes and wrecks riddled all through New Guinea, like all sorts of places, all through it. And my uncle, who's the middle uncle, used to like spend his spare time collecting firearms and bombs and all sorts of stuff, and like playing around with them, which especially the bombs, is a bit fucking dangerous. But anyway, he knew what he was doing apparently. And anyway, but that was saying that he was on a scout trip, and he made friends with the local tribe that the scout trip went to, and the kids and him went off, and they wanted to show him like an old Spitfire wreckage, and so he showed them. They, the pilots were still in the fucking plane, dead, and everything. Like it was like
As
that. That it was that untouched. Only the local kids knew where it was. The adults didn't even know where it was. But anyway, fast forward to today's era. A few years ago, we went up to a aviation museum.
Yeah.
And as we walked into the main foyer, there's this plane wreckage on the fucking ground. And my dad looks at it, and he's like, I know that plane. And then he goes over and looks at the sign, and it says that it was found in New Guinea, but didn't say where. And he's like, and he saw one of the volunteers there for the museum. And he's like, hey, where was this plane found? Was it found outside of? And then he named the tribe, the town name that it was found outside of, and the tribe that it was found near. And they said, yeah, it was. And he goes, oh yeah, I found this when I was a kid. And then the guy's like, what really? And he's like, yeah, it's missing the left-hand 50 cal, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, yeah, we took it.
No.
It was funny. Yeah, they used to strip the planes all the time over there. They would like take the 50 cows out and play with them and shit. Yeah, I would too. Fucking oath, it'd be fun, man.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a 50 caliber in my backyard. Yeah. Funnily enough, though, in New Guinea, it's illegal to have firearms.
I mean, where isn't it? Besides America, of course.
Well, it's not illegal here, but it's just funny. It's illegal to have firearms, but yet they all had firearms from like all these wreckages and stuff like that. Mind you, a lot of them probably don't even know how to fucking get them to work. But yeah, they had BB guns and stuff like that, but they weren't counted as a firearm, which kind of sucks because in Australia, BB guns are illegal.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
You can't even get them. Like, even if you're a registered firearm owner, you can't even get them. You get
that part does surprise me.
You can get air rifles, which are like actual deadly, but you can't get BB guns, and you can get airsoft guns and paintball guns, but you can't get BB guns.
Look, man, nobody said the law had to make sense.
Australian law is just bullshit, honestly. Especially the way they are with their cars. Oh my god.
Yeah, the car laws are very peculiar.
Car laws are dumb. Like, I don't know how you do the inspection shit.
Actually, that's something I need to ask you. Do you have a yearly inspection?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
No, that's fucking dumb. Only the eastern state has that.
Yeah, I think it actually. I'm not sure if it. I need to ask my sister because she lives in Queensland and my mum
do as well.
lives in Victoria.
Yeah, Queensland and New South Wales have the inspections. I don't know if Victoria do. I know Northern Territory, Western Australia, South Australia, and Tasmania, and ACT do not.
Yeah, no, I know about ACT.
I think does ACT have it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it does not.
So,
no,
yeah.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's actually really peculiar because the way that ACT works is that you don't need to get your car inspected. You just need to pay for registration.
That's
and then it's
same here. Yeah.
Yeah. The only time you need to actually pay, you only need to get it inspected is if it runs out of registration. But a piece of paper doesn't determine the condition of a car because. Over here, the only time you need to get it inspected is if you, say, for example, bring a car from Queensland and you want to change it to South Australian plates, then you do need to. But they're only looking for like water damage. Yeah, that's all they're looking for. They're not looking for anything but like, is this car going to fall apart on the road? Yeah, pretty much. But I don't like the yearly inspections. I think it's a bullshit waste of time. it can be a waste of time. Yes. I haven't really had much thought about it, to be perfectly honest. Just something that you do here.
Yeah.
Um, and oh, what's it? Yeah, it's they give you the way it works is that from the time that your car runs out of registration,
Yeah.
you have a 6-week window to get it registered. You can't get it inspected before that 6 week starts.
Yeah.
It's just they send you your registration paper. They tell you how much your registration fee is, and then you say, all right, I need to get in touch with the mechanic and tell them and ask them to do a pink slip inspection for me. And then they do that. I'm actually getting mine done next week. And I got this. They basically, if the car is good, as in the brakes are in good condition, the lights all work, there's not leaking any oil, there shouldn't be any problem. That's essentially how it works.
Yeah.
It's basically an inspection to make sure that your car isn't falling apart.
Yeah, it's roadworthy.
Roadworthy, essentially. Which I guess I have mixed feelings again with, because it's an inconvenience for me, but at the same time, everyone else I now know that you're either driving a roadworthy car, like everyone else around me, you're either driving a roadworthy car or you're driving without an unregistered car. That's basically the way that works.
Yeah. Thing is, like, in theory, it works, but in practicality, it doesn't, because you're relying on mechanics.
Yes.
And not all mechanics are reliable.
Yes, so but that's
the problem as well, because it will not fall back to them. I guarantee you. If a cop found your car unroadworthy, they fine you.
Yeah, no, I understand that,
and that's the problem I have with it. Is I feel that if you're going to go and do yearly inspections, you should be two things. One, your car can't be defected because it has been inspected by a qualified mechanic that is trained to understand the functioning of a vehicle. And if he is past it, and it is actually like your car, is actually roadworthy, is compliant with Australian rules, all that sort of stuff. Because they do check that. They're supposed to check that as well over there. Like for full drives, for example, they'll fail you if your car's lifted too high, or its GVM's too much, or because it's unroadworthy. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for is it compliant with the road laws that it's roadworthy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've had your yearly inspection and, argument's sake, you haven't installed or modified your car at all after the inspection, theoretically you shouldn't be able to be defected by the fucking cops. And then the other thing, I think, that if it turns out that your car is actually unroadworthy, for example, you put in for the inspections and your brakes needed repairing but they didn't tell you, then it should fall back onto the mechanic who was supposed to inspect your vehicle. Now, that's in a perfect world that, nothing happened from the inspection to being pulled over by a cop or an incident happens. That's what I think that it should be. But in reality, it's not that at all. It's just like you have to pay someone to have a look over your car who doesn't actually put that much effort into looking at your car, checking if it's roadworthy. Because I've been to Queensland and, people used to say to me, oh, in Queensland, there's no shit boxes running around. And when I went up there and heading the back, there's heaps of shit boxes running around. So obviously the inspection is not that fucking foolproof.
No, it's one of those. It's the only thing I can really say about that is that, I mean, if your brakes need changing, that's a job for your mechanic. So of course they're going to say, "Oh, money." So we'll just say that your brakes need changing.
Yeah.
I've had it where I've gone for the inspection and the mechanic's called me up and say, "Hey, you need two new front tires." And I say, "Yeah, sure, no worries." It's money for them, right? Yeah, exactly. So of course they're not going to they're not going to say no to money. So it's in their best interest to make sure that your brake rotors are in good condition, your tires are in good condition, your brake pads are in good condition. It's in their best interest to make sure that your car is in good condition because it's a job for them. In terms of it not falling on them, it makes sense if because I'm going to be having this year because I have a different mechanic that looks after the car, and I've got this mob that's actually doing the inspection. So I'll, if something goes wrong, I'll have to go to my mechanic and say like, hey, like this is wrong. What the hell? Well, this is wrong, or can you change this or do this or what? Again, it's money for him, right?
Yeah.
If you are taking your car to a mechanic and they do the pink slip inspection and they say, oh yeah, no, just by the way, you failed the inspection. It's like, guys, you look after this fucking car. Why the fuck am I like? It's literally why would they wouldn't look after the car and then have you pay for it and then fail the inspection because that's just stupid. Like, why the fuck did I give you all of these jobs? I have paid you thousands of dollars to look after the car, and it's failed the inspection. Like, that does not make any fucking sense, guys. Like, look after the fucking car. It's what I pay you for, right? So again, it's in their best interest to look after the car, pass the inspection, so you come back to continue paying them money, right? Because I do spend quite a bit of money making sure my car is roadworthy, right? I've only had to go to a different mob, because I needed a second opinion because my car was fucking dying last year.
Yeah.
And then this mechanic I went to, brought it back to life, essentially. So I've been going to him for the last year, and I went back to the old mob that I used to go to get my car serviced for the pink slip inspection. Kind of fucking awkward, but we'll see how this new mechanic is. But I think my new mechanic is really, really good because
well, it sounds like that when something went wrong, you went straight to him and said, "Hey, this doesn't work," and then it just fixed it.
Yeah.
Well, did they charge you for fixing that and changing it out?
For what?
Like when they put the wrong oil in?
The oil change.
Yeah.
Nah, they didn't charge me for it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so they didn't charge me. I even asked him like, how much do I owe you, and he said, no, you don't owe me anything, because essentially it is part of the it's part of the kit that comes with it. So like you get they buy a kit, which actually I think it was about $300-ish. No, that sounds bad. And it comes with like a full kit. It comes like with the actual timing belt and the crankshaft seal. It was the crankshaft seal that needed to be replaced. Basically, the way that they get it to work is that they only change the crankshaft seal when it starts leaking. In which case, mine was leaking, so they had to take all of it off to get that done.
Yeah, sorry, continue.
That's all right. But yeah, it was essentially they didn't charge me any extra because it was kind of part of the job anyway. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But I haven't had any issues at all so far.
Yeah, I need to service my car. Because I service every 5,000 Ks now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's alright if I go a little bit over, but
it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not, because I'm servicing it so frequent in between. So
yeah.
I'm gonna try and get it done next weekend if I'm lucky. Might do it next Saturday or something like that. So I need to get oil and oil filters and stuff like that. And then I also need to get a fuel filter, but I'm going to wait on the oil fuel filter. I want to do that on its own because it's so fucking expensive. So the dealership charges like $380 something.
Yeah.
For the fuel filter, and then I could get it from Navarra Parts, I think.
Okay.
It's hard. It sucks because my fuel filters are special type. Special type of fuel filter.
Almost forgot to mention. There's another reason why I went to this other bloke. I went to my initial mob with my transmission issues I was having last year.
Yeah.
And they told me they couldn't figure out what it was, but if they told then they told me if it keeps happening, you're probably up for a new transmission, which I worked out to be about, in total, it would probably cost about $3,000, and I'd have to actually take the day off to get the car fixed or figure something else out, which I just didn't really want to do. So I went to another mechanic to get a second opinion, and he basically fixed the whole thing up. We went through and replaced a whole bunch of stuff, and it wasn't related to the transmission at all.
Yeah.
And it worked just fine. And so I realized that I needed to go to a different guy for just logistics reasons.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the guy I go to doesn't do pink slip inspections. So
that sucks. I suppose he probably doesn't want the responsibility and has to get fucking audited and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. So these fuel filters here, I mean, that's not for my model, but these ones here, it looks like that, but none of these fit on my car. That's what the genuine one looks like. So don't know. That's it there. That's the genuine. So see that little fucking clip at the bottom there? That's a water sensor. My car has a proprietary plug, which is that fucking thing there. So you can only get the ones of this.
Yeah. Okay.
But $171 fucking. I might get this one, eh? It's not bad. But yeah, normally like $300 and something dollars. It's ridiculously expensive.
Just make sure you put your credit card information on the stream so I can just write it down for later.
Oh yeah, totally. See, this is my car here. Whoop. That's mine. 140 kilowatt motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
So it fits it. I might order it online. Fucking save a shitload of money. $171.
Yeah, and just do it yourself in like a month time, whenever. Do you ever?
It needs to be sooner rather than later.
No, whenever. Yeah, it's not my car; it's yours.
Do I ever what?
Do you ever just buy in bulk? Like you buy parts in bulk, so that way you can just get through a whole year.
You can't.
Of
my car takes specific oils and stuff like that you can't buy in bulk. It's oddity stuff. It's actually a real cunt. Because to find parts for my car, like the parts themselves, like, you know, like headlights, all that sort of stuff, isn't hard. It's the oils, because it takes a unique oil that not many models use. So a lot of places just don't stock much of it. So you kind of got to... The rule of thumb that I do is before a service, I try and get the oils and stuff ready at least like a couple of weeks before I'm planning on doing it. So then that way I've got, if something goes wrong and they don't have it in stock, I can order it in or something like that. But it's like $110 for fucking a service for the oil. The fuel filter, the oil filter is not very expensive, and I get the O-ring as well. But yeah, it's you know, it's a lot. And then also this time around, I also got to buy another container, because what I do is I buy like a 20-liter container, and then all my old oils and stuff like that I pour into it. So it's like a container full of old oils, and then I go and drop it off at one of the local oil turn-in places, so then that way they can recycle the oil and turn it into synthetic. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I also, my gearbox is also starting to feel a little bit sticky, so I probably need to do a full drivetrain service soon. And she's just hit 138,000 kilometers, so
you want to know where I'm up to?
How many Ks you got?
Over 391,000 kilometers.
Ooh, you almost hit the 400,000 mark. That's probably the longest running Astra I've ever heard of.
Well, that's what all the mechanics say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I first took it to this other mob, they said I've never seen an Astra with that many Ks on it.
Yeah, because they normally like completely grenade before then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, you really hit the fucking lucky one on that one.
That's what I've been told as well.
Yeah. So I need to start saving money for the timing chain, because that will be coming up soon.
Oh. Is that where you have to pull the whole damn engine apart to get to?
Yeah. I'm paying someone to do it. I can't do it myself.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
It's too risky. I could do it, but the problem is it's my car. It's my main arterial transport. So I'd much rather pay someone to get it done in 2 days than do it myself and take a week.
Yeah, all right.
Because I just simply don't have the time to do it. So yeah, I will have to pay someone to do that. Because I can probably, oh no, they wouldn't be able to do it on the weekend. But yeah. But I'm gonna go for a duplex time and chain upgrade kit. So I'm going to upgrade the time and chain so then that way it increases the value of the car, and it will, with that kit upgrade, it will never have to be replaced again.
Hell yeah.
The car, I'll probably have a new car before it needs to be replaced, essentially. That's the idea anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Because I've been doing a lot of thinking as well, and I wonder what you think of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have been seriously on the fence for a long time about a canopy setup because I like camping. And I can't decide whether I want to get a tray canopy or a tub canopy.
What's the difference?
I'll show you.
Okay, show me. I want to know what this
So a tub
is.
canopy is basically a fiberglass canopy.
Yeah.
The one that I'd probably get is like an ARB canopy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a tray canopy is kind of like a toolbox canopy, where it's basically the whole unit itself is an enclosed canopy that just like you can take off and take on the tray. They both pretty much are the same in that regards, but difference is the price.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There is a mob that's my local that I can get them to do it for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So each scenario, so these here, you're like your fiberglass canopies. So they sit on top of the tub. The downside with these is, yeah, it's waterproof. You don't get water inside them and whatnot. But because you're still using the tub, dust and dirt still get in through the tailgate here. You can get seals, but they don't work that well.
Right.
Actually, that's the company that I was talking about. Then you've got these canopies here. And basically, for you to do one of these, you need to basically get a tray. So a lot of these companies do a tray and canopy deal, kind of like that. So when you buy the package, you get the tray, and then you also get the canopy on top, and it's all fitted out and whatnot. I'm not really interested in that. If I was to get one of these, I'll just get a standard tray, and then I'll just get one of these canopies, and then I myself will build it the way I want it. So as you can see, they're quite expensive, which is interesting because that price there is the same price as one of those fiberglass canopies that go on top of a tub, which is kind of funny. So if I was to do it, I'd get something like that, particularly a jack off. I'd want sounds so wrong. I would like to have a jack off canopy, so then that way I have the option of taking it off, storing it somewhere. Say for example, I wanted to do the recycling and hand in the bottles and cans into the recycling depot. I can just unplug and take off, and then go do the recycling, and then come back and then put that back on. That's the ideal setup I think that I would want. But I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I think you should just go with a fiberglass canopy, because all that other stuff, you actually gonna? I don't know if you're actually gonna utilize.
I will use it because So what I would like to have is a dual battery system, and so no matter what setup I have, the dual battery system will be in the tray essentially.
Yeah.
For you. Because I don't have one, and for those that know my car, I've just got a tub, an empty tub. I did have a tonneau cover on it, but some cunt stole it. So, and I'm not paying $300 for a whole kit again. Yes, everybody, they do not sell kits for just the cover itself. Like, you have to buy the mounting and everything all over again. So stupid. So, I'm not paying $300 something for something that I've already paid $300 something. for, and then have all these useless parts that I don't know what to do with. So I want a canopy eventually, but I really don't know. And it's going to be years before this happens anyway, because my main goal is getting a house. So like a canopy will be after a house is all sorted, essentially. Because the the full canopy one,
yeah,
they said that they would do me a deal. This was a while ago though, so it's probably different now. But they said they'll do a deal for a tray and canopy for $3.5. That's the same price as the cheapest fiberglass canopy. So yeah, those going on about the weight, like because D40 Navaras, they like do have a tendency to snap chassis if you put too much weight in the back. Don't worry, I'm not going to. The canopy's not going to be loaded up like you see some of these tours. What my functionality of the canopy is just to store things so it doesn't get dirty and wet when I go on trips. That's it. I might have drawers, but I'm going to make them myself out of plywood because I want them to be light and simple and easy and cheap. I'm not interested in fucking having all these bells and whistles and shit like that. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about a pull-out shower or anything like that because I'd be happy with just have a fucking kettle that runs on, like, have an inverted run a kettle for 240 volt. Very handy thing to have. And just fucking boil some water, put it in a bucket and have a sponge bath. Like, I'm not really that complicated. So that sort of thing. And I don't really travel for that long that I'd need to do that. So my reason for wanting a canopy is simply to keep things out of sight, out of mind, and makes it easier to travel things with. I don't know. Because even if I was to just get a tray, I think I'd be happy with that. And just have everything in plastic plastic tubs and just put a tarp over everything. I mean, I'd be even just happy to do that. The fridge is a little bit complicated though when it comes to doing that stuff. You'd have to get an outdoor fridge or do what my dad does, and he has a normal fridge, and what he does is he tarps it all up, but he the way he packs the tray, he'll put, like, for example, like the chair like this way, so then that way he can get like a gap of that much between the tarp and the fridge, so then that way the fridge isn't basically suffocating. So you could do things like that, but I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like I'd really like to do it, but I also don't want to spend the money on doing it yet. So
also, would you feel it necessary to go camping every single weekend to get your money's worth out of it?
It's not even just for the camping side of things though. It's like, it's more so like the versatility of having a tray, because I hate tubs. Mm. Tubs are shit, man. Like that real archway in the back wastes so much space. It's just a waste of space, the whole thing. Where if I have a tray, it's a lot easier. And then the canopy side of things just allows me to move items to and from in a safe manner that they don't fall out, or I don't need to tie them down, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to kit it out like what others do. I'll put a battery system in it, but that's about it. But,
right.
Yeah. I'm not interested in fucking making my car ridiculously heavy. I'm pretty proud that I'm the only person to have a Navara that has a MPG of 8 point. It was, no, sorry, not 8 point something. It's 7.8 MPG. Where everyone else in the Navara communities are lucky to get like fucking 17 MPG out of it. Right. My car's very fuel efficient. I love it. I'm only filling it once a month at the moment. The only reason why I've had to fill up more regularly is because I've been doing a little bit of long distance traveling with going around with Ray and stuff. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So you got any other exciting news or anything like that, or you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, we can talk about game modding and how we've sort of explored a little bit of game modding because I never really got into game modding because I just didn't really have I didn't really have a lot of incentive or need to mod games.
Yeah.
So I just never did it, but I recently got into it. It's actually really quite a lot of fun, and it's really interesting to see how you can breathe new life into a video game that's well over a decade old just with a couple of mods.
Yeah, that's why I like Arma 3 mods, man. They're so fun.
Yeah, I feel like Arma 3 was just designed for mods because I think the developers of Arma,
it
is. Yeah, I think the developers of Arma realized that if we just make the base of the game, everyone else can just make the rest of the game for us and be okay with it. I'm actually curious. What do you think about paid mods? So, say for example, if someone made a mod for Arma 3, but you had to pay for it to download it.
There are actual mods out there that are like that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like them.
Right.
And the reason why I don't like them is because I have paid quite a few mods on Flight Simulator. So I've played for models of aircraft. And it really pisses me off when you pay $30 for a fucking aircraft and they do not update it. And they do not keep upkeep on it. And you get the model and it is half-assed. Not all the buttons work, not all is binded. But the problem is you don't know that the mod's going to work 100% until you buy it and download it, and you don't get refunds on it either.
Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah, so I'm actually against paying for mods, and I'm sorry, but if you're a modder, you have to understand and realize that you have to do it with two ways. One, you do it as a passion project, which means take all the time you want to create your masterpieces, your work. It is art, it is your work. Whether you want to use your mod creations to get into the industry to become a dev and then paid to do it, that's a really good way of doing it. But asking people for money, you have to take on the responsibility to actually update it, which I found that a lot of those that actually charge money for mods, and this even goes to Arma because there's a few Arma ones that I had to pay for. I found that the ones that I paid for, they don't upkeep the mods as frequent or as often as, say, the free ones do. And that kind of makes me feel a little bit ripped off because I'm paying a lot of money for a mod and then they're just not keeping up with patches and stuff like that. And the mods become unplayable or broken. And it's like, well, I've just paid $30 for nothing. Or $40. That's where I disagree. If they can do that and they can actually keep the upkeep of it, and it's a really good mod and it's like really fleshed out and whatnot, then I'd be happy to pay for it. But the problem is I reckon I've paid for 20 mods, and out of all those 20 mods, only one works, and that's an Arma 3 one. Which was actually officially backed by I forgot the fucking name of the company that makes Arma.
The developers of Arma.
It's a partnered mod. So the partnered mod, that's the reason why I have to pay for it, because the money's going to the mod developer as well as the company as well. It's a partnered one. It's on their official website. It's an official mod. That's the only one that kept upkeep. Every single other mod I've paid for, they just haven't kept up and it's broken. It doesn't work. So it's kind of really skewed my sort of ideas on it.
I think that we can probably kill two birds with one stone with a solution to that. If, because what could happen is that you might have someone who wants to get into game development. They just say, all right, I'm going to make a mod that you pay for so I can get further into it. I can, maybe pay for tools that don't come out of my own pocket, shall we say. And so I don't end up going broke, or God forbid that, you're at your your financial limit, but you really want to get into game development. So you make the mod, you release it, and then you realize that you're actually not really too keen about game development.
Yeah.
So you don't upkeep it, right? So I think at that point, what would be courteous to do was to just write in the title like a little dash discontinued, no longer working.
Yeah,
So
but
that way people...
the problem is people paid for it already. That's what pisses me off.
Mm.
You know, like, okay, for example, if, you know, there's games that I own that are over 10 years old and obviously they don't continue working. That's fine. That's understandable. But I'm talking about something that's only 6 months old and have stopped working on it.
Right.
And I've still paid for it. It's like, if you charge someone for something, you have a responsibility to hold and maintain it for XYZ amount of time that you need to. It can be like the life of the game. Some games only really stay alive for a year, like a COD. Like, imagine if CODs have fucking mods.
God,
like
that'd be horrible.
Like, well, actually, COD do have mods, but
yeah, I know.
They're not official or anything like that. But you know, you should be maintain it for the life of the game, essentially. Now, it doesn't have to be 10 years like some games, but it can be like quite a significant amount. Like, look at Space Engineers, and all that's free, and yet those mods have been maintained for years by people. But the one thing that Space Engineers that I really, really love is the game devs actually pay the mod developers depending how popular they are. So if you get, say, for example, 5 or 6 downloads, then yeah, I can understand you not being paid for it. But if you get like hundreds of downloads a day because of how popular it is, then I think the money shouldn't go from the people downloading, but it should actually go towards the developers, because what that mod is now doing, it's going on to the point of keeping a game alive. Say Skyrim's a big example of that. I also like the idea of donations over force paid, because Skyrim, when Skyrim brought out paid mods, because some mods were free and some mods you had to pay for, no one bought the paid mods, and every single one of them were continued. So people who did pay for them, they weren't continued long after, because it's probably what you said. You know, they started making game development, got a bit greedy, and then they realized they didn't like it and just fucking disappeared with people's money. So the donation thing, I think, is a little bit better. Than that way, those who download the mods, it's up to them whether they're going to support you or not. And a lot of the time they will. I mean, it's just like Twitch. You know, a lot of people will support other Twitch users and donate their money and subscriptions and whatnot. They don't have to. They can still watch your content without it. But if they support you, they'll be willing to do it. And I think that is a better scheme than force paying someone.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's a lot better. And it works better, I think. People are a lot more generous if it's free and then you put the time and love into it. And to go back to what you're saying with the tools, believe it or not, a lot of engine tools are free. The only time you have to pay for a lot of them is if you go towards your high-end stuff. When you go into the full game development side of things, that's when you have to pay for it. But modding and creating maps and textures and creating triggers, all that sort of stuff in mod development, all those tools are usually free. Except for Unity, because Unity sucks. Unity's gonna.
I don't think Unity's gonna last much longer.
No, they fucking screwed the pooch on that one. But yeah, like Unreal, for example, all Unreal has a lot of free tools that you can use. So the only thing that mod creators are essentially paying for is the actual hardware side of things. If they need to upgrade their computer or whatever, then yeah, they obviously have to pay for that, and some programs they would have to pay for. But in terms of like the engines and the actual mod creations, that is all free. So yeah, and a lot of game devs actually release the mod creation tools anyway, so you can just download the package and do it yourself in those games that are supporting it. like Starfield and Armor and all that. Yeah, you can do all that within the game. Just download the mod package and away you go. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway.
No, that's fair enough. What's it? Sorry, I've drawn a blank.
So, did you hear that? All the devs are basically now rebelling against Unity.
Yeah, so I didn't read too far into it because I felt it was kind of futile because I already know that Unity is kind of fucked. Hello, Reggie. So as far as I know, the devs have disabled the advertisement for Unity's game engine.
They're also pulling their games completely as well.
Yes, I did hear about that. The Unity's
Lamb of the Cult was like the first one.
Sorry?
Lamb of the Cult was the first one.
Yeah, I don't know. The Unity's new policy goes into effect 1st of January next year. And essentially that's when all the Unity developers said they're just going to delist their game, and as opposed to paying for
fuck them.
Paying for it. But yeah, which is fair enough because it's essentially double dipping, which is if you know anything about marketing, you never double dip.
No,
it's one of the worst things you can do.
The thing that really pisses me off is like this would kill small production companies, small devs and whatnot, and it will kill the big ones too because the amount of money they're asking for, like for example, the big ones, it's going to cost them billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Billions.
It's
going to kill everybody. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, because the Unity is not giving them a choice when when essentially what they're asking for is another 20% of all the sales.
Yeah.
Which, I can't remember what the old monetization was in terms of just a regular revenue to make a certain amount in revenue.
It's not a percentage though.
No, it's 20 cents per download.
Yeah, it's worse.
Yeah, which is 20%.
Yeah.
Right. So 20%, and a further 20% on the gross in combination with, I can't remember what the percentage was on the regular revenues, but you're probably looking at 50% of your money goes towards just Unity.
Yeah, it'd be so damaging. And then you also got all your VTubers and stuff like that. It's going to kill all them.
Yeah, this could actually have the power to destroy 3D VTubing.
Yeah, it will. Whoever is in charge of Unity at the moment is just so greedy.
Oh,
this is just the sin of greed. This guy's the embodiment of greed.
Information came out about who. Well, if you look it up. If you look up the CEO of Unity, it turns out to be the same person who is the former CEO of EA. And in 2009, which it'll make sense. Yeah. It all makes sense, absolutely. So in 2009, I think it was Battlefield 3, they tried to make players pay for reloads. So you pay $1 per magazine, and it nearly killed the fucking game. Luckily, they didn't go ahead with it, but it's just so ridiculous, dude. Like, you need to find another way to make money. You can't just expect the players to pay $1 just to be able to reload their fucking magazine. That's just ridiculous.
I think EA died a long time ago.
Oh yeah, EA has been dead for a long time.
Like, their games just suck, and I don't know why people still buy their stupid sports games.
Well, because they're sports people. Then
I have to admit, you got to be a sad person to play sports games.
Yeah, just go outside and kick a soccer ball around. Like, you get the full RTX experience.
Those that play FIFA all the time, and those that play like NRL and all that, just
advanced physics in this if you go outside.
Okay, golf with your friends is not the same. All right,
no, it's not.
It's
That's literally that's the same. That's the same experience as like Among Us or Goose Goose Duck, where it's just you and a bunch of friends around a board game. That's the experience you get out of those games. They're not video games such as Battlefield or Call of Duty. It's not really the same.
The only sports games I could probably sort of understand are like your WWE and your MMA fighting ones, because that to me is no different to like say Mortal Kombat. But fucking like soccer, and I've seen volleyball and
they run. I don't think I've
plays that.
Yeah, I don't know anyone. I think it's been a very long time since I last played a game like that. So I don't know if it runs on real time. So you're actually playing 80 minutes of soccer when you play a FIFA game.
You know the NBA one? Did you know that? Oh, it was last year, the year before. They brought out like an NBA fucking game.
Yeah.
And they had real life ads in it.
No fucking way. Holy shit.
Whenever a goal was scored, it would play like a series, just like when you're watching the NBA for real. It would just play fucking real ads for you. Like, I'm paying $100 and something for a fucking game and I get ads. Fuck off. Like, that is double dipping. Fucking wankers.
Yeah, that is. It's...
Yeah.
Okay, so... Further monetization, it's a bit tricky. So the old system that used to work really, really well was that you release the game for however much your country buys it for, whether you're the US for $60 or $100 in Australia. And then say, for example, and then you just say, all right, well, we want to keep this game alive for a little while, so we'll just we'll develop DLC for it. It's like and then you sell the DLC for money, right? So it's kind of like a double effect where you can get more revenue through the game and advertisement at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's no problem with that. Is that when you had in-game monetization that started to become a bit of a problem, and I think Battlefield's
stupid fucking, remember the loot box crap?
Yes.
They actually, it got so out of hand, they had to actually, this is because of Star Wars Battlefront 2, they actually had to make legislation to stop them.
Yes.
Like, this is the problem. And this has also gotten to the point with games in general, how shit they are, is we keep buying games that are not finished. And then they go, it is live, so we'll update. And it's like, fuck off. This is just an excuse to just take your time, charge full price for a game that isn't finished, and then just slowly over time upgrade it to the point where like it becomes decent. And the biggest example of that is No Man's Sky. When No Man's Sky first came out, and same with Sea of Thieves, when they first came out, it wasn't finished at all. It was like not even completed. It was half-assed.
I was thinking of Cyberpunk 2077.
That's another one as well. But that one was a little bit different because the game was finished, but they just didn't have time to fix the bugs.
Well, that doesn't sound finished to me.
Well, it's not, but it wasn't finished, but in terms of the storyline, it was finished, or where all the other games' storyline wasn't finished at all. Destiny was a big one as well. Destiny, fuck me, I don't know why people still play that shit.
Didn't they say they wanted to like keep that game alive for like 10 years, and then they released number 2 in like 4 years after Destiny 1?
I fucking lost interest in Destiny. Like, my first reaction with Destiny was the same as Angry Joe's, right? I fucking stayed up for the 12 o'clock launch for that bloody game.
No fucking way.
And then I stayed up to 12 o'clock launch. I lined up with everyone else. I got the whole fucking box set.
Oh, no fucking way. That must be the biggest kick in the balls.
I spent a lot of money on Destiny the first time around.
Sorry, I'll finish you.
I remember my friend was over as well. Like, we both got it. I got it, but he wanted to see before he bought himself. I sat down. I even set the Xbox up on the biggest screen in the lounge room and whatnot.
Yeah.
Get it installed and go to start playing. And I play the first level. And I'm like, this is it?
Yeah.
And he's like laughing his head off.
Oh,
and I'm like,
no.
This is shit.
Yeah.
Where was the game I was promised? What the fuck is this crap? Like, I was told
if it was
that
promised in the DLC, you'll pay an extra $40 for.
I was told they said the AI were going to be intelligent. They were going to be like Halo level intelligent.
Oh, that was another thing too. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
They were going to work together, so like the different classes of enemy will actually work in unison with each other, like on fucking Halo, because it is Bungie, the creators of OG Halo, and so like they said that the enemies weren't going to be bullet sponges. They said that it was going to feel alive and ever changing and all that sort of shit. It was an empty shell. It was fucking boring. I finished the entire storyline in 20 minutes. The whole game I finished in fucking 20 minutes. That's how long it took me. I wasn't even trying to speed run it. I fucking finished it so quick. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. What the fuck? Like,
yeah, you played the entry level. The DLC comes after, like, once you pay $40.
It didn't take long at all. It was like, Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, Mr. 4, Mr. 5, and then I'm done. I'm like, that was it. That was it.
Fucking
and then it's just like, do all the challenges. And I'm like, for what?
No.
And then the multiplayer is the only thing that kept that game alive. If it didn't have multiplayer, it would be so dead.
Yeah.
Because the raids suck. I just like, I like people like, if you don't have a friend group raiding on Destiny, it's bullshit. So I would spend 2 hours on a raid, the hardest difficulty raid on the Vex. And we'll get to the end, we'll get to the final boss, we'll start to shoot him, blah, 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 get it all done. Next minute, I get booted. They boot me to bring one of their friends on so they get the loot and the reward. That happened to me so many fucking times. It just got aggravating. So fucking aggravating that people do that sort of shit. Or like another one where like I'll be in a group and we'll spend all the way through the raid, because the unique items, for example, Galahorn would only drop at a certain raid, right? And the percentage of who gets it is really like random because it's RNG, which I fucking hate RNG. I don't like RNG at all. And the reason why I don't like RNG is because of this. So this motherfucker joined late game into the party. It wasn't my group, it was with someone else, and they invited him. He gets Galahorn. We all spent hours fucking shooting this boss, killing this boss. I got the last HP points. So I got the kill. Who gets fucking Galahorn? Some random guy that just fucking joined the lobby. And like everyone was pissed. And we're like, why does this game allow people to join randomly throughout the fucking raid? Like, it's so bullshit. And like it happened over and over and over again. And then Destiny 2 came out. So I thought I'd give it a go. You know, they got rid of Peter Dinklage's voice for some reason. I don't know why. They replaced him with some other person. And they added like an actual story and a campaign, and I played it. And I'm like, it's a little bit more interesting. It's better than the first one. They're trying. But it's the same. Same shit. No matter how many times you polish a turd, it's still a turd. And yet these motherfuckers still play it, eat it up. I don't get it. I really don't, man. Same with Division. I don't know why people play Division.
Yeah, Division was a fucking disaster, I think.
Like, I don't even know.
Yeah. Apparently they're making number 3. I don't even know how the hell they made number 2.
How do they even have money?
Like, I don't know.
Who pays for it? Because same with Fallout 76. No one plays that. That thing's shit.
Oh, yeah. They literally broke that game.
Yeah, that like they didn't have NPCs. How can you have an RPG without NPCs?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's just robots that give you very short dialogue and that's it. Like, the fuck?
The last game I pre-ordered and I'm genuinely fucking ashamed that I did this, was Halo 5.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even do that.
Yeah, that was rough.
I waited for it to come out.
One of my friends...
I didn't touch it for ages, and my mate's like, "Oh, dude, the multiplayer is actually fun." That's the only reason I bought it, is because of the multiplayer, and I played multiplayer for ages, and it was fun. I did like the multiplayer. It was
fun. I did enjoy the multiplayer.
Yeah, I just hated the campaign. And then
everyone, I've never met a single person who said, "Oh yeah, the campaign's great. I love the story." I've never met anyone who said that.
No, even Halo 4 campaigns suck. But
yeah, I didn't like it.
But I was really high hopes for Infinite, and then I played it, and then I finished it, and then I'm like, I don't want to play it again. And then you and I were playing it again, like co-op, and we had a lot of fun, but it is so empty.
Yeah, it's they made the map.
It's just empty.
Yeah.
What they should have done is they should have made what's that fucking... It's in Minecraft, like, you know how you got the terrain generator, but instead of terrain it's enemy generator, so it will just randomly... yeah, they should have done that
similarly to what they did in Left 4 Dead, where they would just randomly spawn NPCs, like, you know, depending on each playthrough, so that would be a fresh experience every single time. Yeah,
they should have done that because it was so stagnant in Infinite. It got to the stage where you knew everything was scripted, and that's what I had a problem with. We have this technology now that we don't need to script things. Like, for example, at this point in time, this dropship will drop these troops and these enemies here, and it's like that the whole playthrough. Doesn't matter what difficulty it is. Where other games, it's like they may not drop there, they may drop fucking sentinels may appear there, or hunters may appear there, or like it's random. I think that would have been a lot more beneficial, and I think they needed to have more structures all over the place. And to be honest, they should have done, they should have kept your main structures and your main bases and stuff like that, all that the same. But they should have had random generated terrain and structures that would just pop up out of nowhere. So then that way, like, it would keep changing. I think that would be kind of cool. And it'll kind of go more with the Forerunner aspect, because Forerunner stuff is, like, unique because their buildings are made out of hard light, which people don't know. So those giant buildings, those metal structures that you see is called hard light. And it can actually transform. It can change. It can change its appearance and shape. And they don't show that in the games, but I think Infinite would have been a great way to do that. I think that would have been a lot of fun.
I will cut 343 a bit of slack, because it was the first time they were experimenting with this kind of.
It did rejuvenate the game.
Yes, so the way that they did it is actually probably I don't like. I just put it just to sort of make a long story short. I don't like Skyrim, because the game drops you into a map and says do whatever the hell you want, and I can't cope with that. I sort of need a goal to get to, and I think the way that Halo Infinite did its storytelling in terms of progression, it was sort of like a semi-linear progression system, which is all I really enjoyed. So you knew where the next mission was, you knew how to get there, and there would have been things to do on the way there if you wanted to.
It didn't need to be an RPG.
Sorry?
It didn't need to be an RPG.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily an RPG. It
wasn't. It was just an open mode FPS. That's all it was.
Yes.
Which is what it needed to be. They just needed to make it more entertaining. So then that way, when you go from point A to point B, it's not that you have tasks to do, but you have challenges. So enemies and stuff like that, terrain challenges. That's what I think they needed to have. Not parkour, but... like they just needed to they need to fill the world a little bit more, I feel. not too much more, but a little bit more, just to make it so that when you go from mission A to mission B, like what you want, it's not just basically a lot of fucking grappling and running, because that's all it is. To get point A, to get from mission A to mission B, all you and I would do is just grapple there.
Yeah, the funny part is that the grapples ended up making vehicles redundant. So
vehicles were redundant.
I've never driven a vehicle in Halo.
And then the terrain was so rugged and rough that you couldn't drive it anyway. Yeah, like you'd be going up the road, up a path on a warthog, and you just suddenly roll.
Yeah,
going back down the hill, and it's like, what's the fucking point of having this?
There is no point in driving. There's only very few patches that you can actually drive.
Yeah, it's shit. They really fucked that.
Yeah,
it wasn't balanced. It was not balanced, the game, at all.
Well, all I hope for is that they sort of learn where they went really, really well and figure out where they didn't do so well.
Well, there's no learning.
And
there's no learning. They all got fired.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
what are they going to learn?
Is pretty much no longer in existence.
Yeah,
anymore.
And then apparently going to reboot Halo as well, which pisses me off.
I don't know how the hell they're going to do that. Because
I don't want them to. I want them to let Halo die. I want them to end it. If they end it on Infinite and just not create another Halo, I'm happy. That's good. What they should do is they should put more money into the entertainment side of things. They've built this world of Halo. They've created these fans. Go into making more books. Go into making films.
I wouldn't mind more books. That would be great.
Books would be great too. I think that's what they need to do. I think that they should not make any more games, because at this stage, that dead horse is so fucking beaten. It's basically bones now. You're gonna keep beating it. That it's just gonna fucking end up cracking and just falling apart in pieces, and then people are gonna forget what the fuck it once was. Like, at this stage, the shape of the dead horse doesn't look like a horse. That's what Halo is. It's like, it used to be a horse, and then it died, and then 343 keep beating it. Now it's lost its skin, it's lost its fucking muscles, it's got no stomach, it's got no outsides at all. It's just bones. And it still looks like a fucking horse, because the bones look like a horse. But I feel that if they make another game, they're going to break all the bones up to powder, and then it's just going to be left with a fucking mess.
I'm stealing that. That's fucking incredible. It's got no outsides. Oh crap! What I'd love is if some indie developers got the fucking got the licenses for it, and remade Halo 4 and 5. That would be pretty cool. Or if so, like, you know what I might even do one day is I might just write a novel about how I think Halo 4 should have gone.
Well, that's you know, Battlefront 2, how they made it and then it was just fucking dropped for whatever reason.
Yes.
So the original Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah. I love that game. I play that game a lot.
So not the original Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 3.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so they brought it out. They made a finished game, and then suddenly the fucking the parent company's like, nah, we're not doing it. Dropped it, right? And then later down the line, DICE got it and fucked it. So a mod developer got hold of it and then released it as a mod.
What?
Yeah, as a Star Wars Battlefront 2 mod.
Oh, really?
You know how fucking quick DICE shut that down?
Really?
Yeah, it lasted like a month, and then DICE just straight away shut it down.
Far out.
He wasn't charging for anything. I'm like, how the fuck do they have the right to do that?
They do, because it falls under copyright protection, and the belongs to, well, whoever writes it first. If they decide they hold the copyright. If they want to sell the copyright to a company, say for example, a company wants to make money off of it, they can buy it off of him for a large sum of money, and then the copyright gets exchanged to the company that bought it.
Yeah, see, I think that if I was Lucasfilm, right, and then someone did that, and I was a businessman, I would look at what DICE has done to Battlefront, which is destroyed the name. And I mean destroyed the name. They friggin' destroyed it. Like, I don't think another Battlefront will come out because they fucked it that badly. And then this mod developers just brought out a game that was like 15 years old or whatever it is. It'd be like 15 years old now, I think. And then see that it's free and you don't really have to do any effort or anything like that, but it might bring some life back into a dead game, so which could in future bring back money. I would let them leave it. I would be like, hey, DICE, don't stop them. Let them do this, because this could potentially rebirth the name. And later down the line, if you want to create a number 3, you can use this old game that these people clearly love, get as much information from it, and then create what they want. Therefore, you'll get money. Not what you want, what they want. This is what the people want. And use that as a tool to then make a future game that will be better, and et cetera, and et cetera. Like, that's a smart business plan. Not just fucking... there's an old game that's 15 years old that was never created that somehow is now being released. I am terrified that it's going to ruin my 21st century freaking state-of-the-art game with amazing graphics and immersion. Like, it just... Denying someone that says a lot about their character and their insecurities about their own product. That's my point, is like, they were so insecure about this damaging their product that they fucking silenced it, which made it a hell lot worse when they brought out all those fucking loot boxes and shit like that. Like, they knew that their product was shit.
Oh, yeah, everyone knew it. Well, Disney has more lawyers than animators for a reason. That's because they're...
Yeah, but it wasn't Disney, it was DICE.
No. I'm using it as an analogy.
Yeah.
I'm analogizing. So Disney has more lawyers than animated because they're control freaks, because they want, their product to go in a particular direction.
They have an entire wing dedicated to law.
Yes.
And the huge structure of a building.
Yes.
I'd love to be a lawyer on their team.
I wouldn't. I fucking wouldn't. Holy shit.
You'd get paid like so much money.
No, you wouldn't.
You reckon?
No, that's Disney, man.
Yes. Yeah, but why would you work for them then? Like, you would have to,
because it's kind of like it's kind of like chocolate bars. You don't sell them for a lot, but you sell a lot, so you make a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
So the lawyers probably have 1,000 jobs to do every single day. You probably get worn out so goddamn quickly, but you need to do that to be able to make your ends meet.
Do you reckon the lawyers are the ones that go around searching the internet for copyright infringements? Because it wouldn't surprise me if they're fucking...
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, they're forced to do that. I know Disney are like so controlling. That's why I was surprised that they took so long to fire Kathleen Kennedy. Because she...
I didn't even realize. I thought they didn't fire her
they fired her. Yeah, she's gone.
No surprise there.
Because she did the same thing with Star Wars that like all those game devs were talking about did with those games. Like, Dave Filoni was saying, this is the reason why The Last Mandalorian sucked. So The Last Mandalorian, a big example, right? So they had written everything up. They got everything ready to go. They started filming. Then Kathleen Kennedy like turned up, I think it was like a month in fucking filming.
Oh, no way. That sucks.
She turns up and is like, I don't like any of this. Rechange it. and made them fucking write the whole script and then have to do filming all over again. That's why it took so long for season 3 to come out. And then when it came out, it was so shit. No one liked it. Like, I hated it.
Well, it sounds like Kathleen Kennedy is really bad at her one job.
She is. She's terrible. You know what she needs to do? Nothing. All she needs to fucking do is let them do their fucking job, and then she just makes sure that everyone is following the business model. That's all she needs to worry about, is to make sure that money's going to come in, the show's going to be successful. Is it going to be successful? Well, according to our target audience, it will be. Okay, cool. That's cool. Just leave it to them.
She was probably so bad at her job that she thought she was following the business model by telling people.
She kept fucking going down this road of everything's got to have some political meaning. Like, that's why, like, in episode,
just make something just for the sake of being cool.
Well, Star Wars, the new ones, number 2, like the second one they brought out,
the second trilogy.
Yeah, the third trilogy, but the second film in the third trilogy.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Yeah.
So you had Force Awakens, and then you got the Skywalker.
I don't remember.
The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi.
I'm not reserving memory. I'm not reserving precious memory to remember what the fuck that movie was called.
The Last Jedi was all her doing. They made Luke a hermit, a useless hermit that was a scaredy cat. They made him so underwhelmingly unpowerful. They added this chick who was an engineer, and she was honestly the most badly written character. It's almost like Kathleen turned around and said, "Oh, we need more representation. We need a Hispanic female in there." Or actually, what fucking nationality was she? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. So we need some sort
wrong with representation. It's the part that keeps getting fucked up is the shit characters. Is that you need complex characters. Like, you can't have simple characters and say, well, we're going to put this person here because there are certain X, Y, and Z, and then pair that person with a shit character, because then it can just completely, what shall we say? It's kind of demeaning, really.
Like, you had a good main character called Finn, who was the stormtrooper. He was a good character. He was an African-American actor. He did a good job. But then they added this chick who was another forced minority character. But then they didn't even flesh her out. Like, she had no purpose in the show whatsoever. Now, that is what I call is throwing in representation for the sake of representation and not having a thought. Like, there's nothing wrong with having representation, like I said, but you need to, like, have it organic, have it fleshed out, have it work. Otherwise, all you're doing is you're just tainting your message by your own
quite
doing.
Literally, and ironically as well. And you're destroying an actor's career.
Yeah, it did. It destroyed her. And what made it worse, and it fucked me off so much. So all the criticism was not because she was a female. It was not because of her background. It was because she was a poorly written character. It wasn't even about her, the actor. But then, like, because people were attacking the character, she took it on that she was being attacked because of who she is. And then the fucking director then starts insulting Star Wars fans, and that caused the whole drama. And it was nothing that at all. It was just critique on a shitly thrown in character. That's it. And then, like, I mean, yeah, some people are being fucking sexist and bigots and whatnot. You get that in anything, but you ignore them and only focus on the majority message, which is don't half-ass shit. That's what it was. And she was a bad actor anyway. She wasn't good. She was poorly written and she was a bad actor. So
I refuse to recall that from my memory because that would require brain power, and I don't think it even deserves it.
Mate, I was angry through the whole watching that film. I was just like, this is shit. Anyone who likes this film's an idiot. That's what I was thinking.
A defecting traitor is actually a real, like, that's already a complex character in of themselves.
Yeah, and they did that number one really well. I like number one better than the others. Well, number two was just like a waste of time and money, and then number 3 was kind of shit.
I refuse to remember if I've seen number 3.
That was crap. They like brought Palpatine back, and he was this big baddie.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Now I remember.
And then it was just terrible. You know, Palpatine is that strong that he could have just killed them like that.
Yeah, I know. Like,
they don't even understand.
Strong.
They don't understand that. Like Palpatine in Star Wars lore, Palpatine is and always will be the strongest Sith to ever have lived. Period. Like his strength in the books, there is none unmatched. And in George Lucas's universe, he was either more powerful than he was in Disney. And in Disney, he was still pretty strong. But in George Lucas's universe, he was strong. Like he could destroy entire fleets and shit. Like,
so at the end of the Jedi Returns, when Palpatine is shooting thunder through,
that's called a Force Storm. It's a Force Storm.
Yeah, Force Storm. So when he's shooting Force Storm into Lucas, he's effectively tickling him.
Yeah, basically.
That's gonna change your perception every time you watch that movie now.
Yeah,
look at Palpatine tickle that young blonde boy.
The new Ahsoka show is really good. I'm really loving it. Doing it.
Oh yeah, I've heard
really good.
I heard that it was going to exist. I haven't really taken any time to look further into
Thrawn's in it. There's actually a book because you're not a huge Star Wars fan, are you?
Not really.
So there's some books that I want you to try out.
Okay.
The Thrawn trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Try it out.
That's 3 books. That
would
make sense being a trilogy. Yeah.
You got to try it out.
I'll have a look
super
at
good, man.
Okay.
Super good. Yeah, you'll love it.
All right.
So there's quite a few of them. I think there's 3. I've read 3 of them. Yeah, they're good. Really, really good. It introduces you to Thrawn. You get to see Anakin and Thrawn work together. You get to see Thrawn build his career in the Empire, and then you get to see Thrawn and Vader work together.
Oh,
it's really, really good. Very, very interesting. I love Thrawn. He's such a unique character. And then another one that I would suggest you to read is Darth Plagueis, which is about the rise of Sidious, and that is also a really good book too. And it fleshes out a lot of lore in Star Wars universe and stuff, because Plagueis was a very intelligent information gathering being. And then obviously it shows a young Palpatine and how cunning and dangerous he was as well. So yeah, they're both top end books.
Okay.
Yeah, you enjoy reading them. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, they're just a good read, man.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
I need to, you know what I might do? I might read some Halo books as well, because there's some books I want to read. I've read, sorry to just completely go off on another subject. I've read Contact Harvest. That one I quite enjoyed. Fall of Reach. I've tried reading Ghosts of Onyx twice. I keep getting halfway through and getting distracted. The Flood was kind of crap.
Yeah, it was crap.
The
Ghosts of Onyx, and then you've also got the other 2 after that. That's also really good as well.
Was it? There was some sort of strike book. I can't remember the name of it. No, I don't. It's basically when they try to force the Covenant to surrender. It's shortly after Halo 1 or 2. No, shortly after Halo 1, where they tried to force the Covenant to surrender by capturing the truth or regret. Yeah. And then I got a few other ones. So there's a couple other ones where it's more so about scavengers, like other people in the universe, in the outer colonies, scavenging resources and whatnot.
I like the book. I can't remember what one it is. I like the one where so Chief and Cortana end up hijacking a Covenant ship.
Yeah.
And Cortana's going over, it's like one of the earlier books. Cortana's going over the technology of the Covenant ships, and she's like, why are they doing it like this? This is so inefficient. Plasma bobulets, or the fuck she called them. She's like, it's inefficient. So she rechanged the fucking Covenant ships so then that way, like, because you know how like Covenant shoot like plasma balls.
Yeah.
She changed it to a fucking plasma beam. And they like fucking destroy like Covenant ships left, right, and center. They like got surrounded at one point by a whole heap of ships, and they just opened up full like firepower and just fucking just lasered through the shields and the holes.
Oh wow!
And Chief's like, mind me never to piss you off. Yeah, she like basically turned the Covenant ships into like way more efficient and stronger than they ever were. It's crazy.
Oh,
She was such a good AI. I don't know why they went down the route of fucking making her evil.
Oh, because they realized that the Covenant was dead and they needed a new antagonist, which pissed me off in Halo 5, right? Julim Dharma. Julim Dharma would have been the perfect antagonist, but they killed him.
He was good. He was actually an interesting character. And then when you start reading Ghosts of Onyx, and you learn about his son.
Okay, I may have come across him, but I just didn't connect the dots.
So you know how in Ghosts of Onyx you got the community of Covenant and humans working together, right?
Yes.
So
I think I'm up to that.
One of the main characters of Ghosts of Onyx, who ends up becoming best friends with the main girl, she's like the kid.
Lucy?
Yeah, Lucy. I think it's Lucy.
I think that name rings a bell.
She's a child. Anyway, so she goes to school, this multicultural, multi-species school. She ends up becoming friends with... she ends up becoming friends with a grunt and I've forgotten the fucking names of them all of a sudden. But anyway, so she ends
the grunts and the jackals?
No, the jackals were never there because jackals don't like people. They're pirates, yeah. So it's just basically Sang Healy and grunts, essentially.
Right.
The only two species there. Anyway, so she found this loner elite who was all white, and he had like a weird complexion to him. And he was very tall and very lanky, and he kind of was treated like shit by all the other Sang Healy. And so she ended up befriending him, and he was like really like standoffish and was like didn't want to like know her. And then she found out that his father was what do you call him? What you said?
Julim Dharma?
Julim Dharma, yeah. And he hates his dad. And he hates what his dad represents, yeah. So he is basically being looked after by the school principal, who's from his tribe. So yeah, his brother is also fighting with the rebellion as well. So it's like really interesting when you actually get into the Ghosts of Onyx, and then obviously you got the prequels and stuff like that later on.
Yeah.
Because
I reckon they could have salvaged Halo entirely if they kept Julim Dharma alive.
Yeah,
and made him the main antagonist. Because then they could have made it a really complex story where Julim Dharma is trying to rebuild the Covenant.
Yeah,
and I honestly think that if they, instead of Halo 4 Chief being missing for 4 years, he was only missing for a year at most.
Yeah.
8
because I also don't like what they've done with the Banished as well, because they introduced the Banished in Halo Wars 2 and then they introduced them in Halo Infinite, but like the Banished to me don't come across as a main villain, because the Banished to me don't make sense.
Right. In what way?
The reason why they don't make sense is, so the whole point of Atriox. The whole point of Atriox is he hated the Covenant. He knew that they were lying. He hated the way they were slaughtering his brethren. And so he fought against them and then fucking made a splinter cell and rebelled against them, right? So why the fuck does he hate humans? It doesn't make sense. He's high.
No, you're right. So he would have just followed down the same path as the Arbiter in Halo 2 and 3. So
exactly.
I can see where you're coming with that.
He would have broken off the Covenant. He would have destroyed the Covenant. But he wouldn't have fought humans because he would have looked at them and be like, well, you guys are like me. The Covenant was trying to oppress you guys and wipe you off the face of the earth. Why would I hate you? You've done nothing to me.
I'm guessing it's because he's a brute, and brutes aren't as intelligent as elites, I would say.
He's intelligent, though. He's smart.
Well, I have no idea. Well, in that case, I have really no idea. I think it's just poor 343 writing.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it doesn't make sense. If they had explained that... So he broke off with the... If they explained, like, he broke off with the Covenant and then he went to the humans for help and the humans betrayed him, that would make sense. But him just going, I'm going to take the power of the Forerunners and destroy all of humanity, it doesn't make sense. It's like the humans never did anything to you. It was the Covenant that did something to you. If anything, I would be trading with the humans. I wouldn't necessarily be friends with them, but I would be like, okay, how about this? We work together in fighting the Covenant and we trade some resources. And then maybe the humans fuck him over in some way and then he starts like, you know, fuck you, I'm done. I'm going to start killing you. Or hell, even if it's like he ends up creating like a warrior class sort of civilization where they, I don't know, they fucking seek out, find human ships that are unbeatable and fleets with troops, and then they like fight them for fun. Like Predator style. Like that would be more logical than what they're doing. And then when Halo Infinite came out, they destroyed the Infinity, which doesn't make sense because their ships aren't superior to human tech either. Like, because human tech is way superior to Banished tech.
No, that's true, because which doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't make any sense because it was I think 343 knew that, and they knew that if the Banished and humans teamed up, the Covenant wouldn't last very long, and it wouldn't really make for a very long story. So they had to just rely on plot armor and whatnot.
But it would make sense though, like logically speaking. For example, it would be like World War II, right?
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying that they wouldn't have gotten a lot of story out of it.
What I would have done, how I would have written it, right, is I would have done it similar to like World War II. So say like the Banished are the Yanks. Now they have a lot of firepower because they're not afraid to utilize everything at their arsenal. They are a scavenging group of people, beings. They will take what they can and then make it better and then use it. So say for example, Atriox was betrayed by the Covenant late in the war. So therefore he branches off and then creates the Banished. The Banished and the humans not necessarily fight together, but fight on opposite ends. He is on a different side of the scale of the war, and we're on the other side of the scale of the war, fighting at our home front. We both take out the Covenant. Covenant splinters because they betray their own, because that's just the nature of things with those sort of religious radicals. People who find the truth and then splitting up. And anyway, the Covenant is destroyed. That's how I would have done it. I would have done it like that we kind of like worked together but weren't necessarily like easy allies, because at the end of the day, like we don't really know each other. And then I would have it, you know, later down the line that the Banished and the humans, some sort of conflict happened between them, ended up breaking out in war, and now they don't like each other anymore. So if we come across Banished, they'll kill us and we end up having to fight them. But it's not like the same type of scaled war that 343 are trying to go for, where Atriox is like, I'm going to destroy Earth. Like, I don't think he would do that. I think he would just take resources for himself and then just build an army and then just set up shop somewhere and just live their lives, and that's what they'll do. I don't think he would be the type of being to conquer everything.
And I think that's where 343 didn't want it. They probably wanted more story than what that would have provided.
See, that would have provided in-depth story, though, I think.
Yeah, but just not. They're more concerned about the number of volumes rather than the depth of the volumes.
Because, like, even with the flood, like, they destroyed the flood. And they ruined the Bungie story of the flood. I think the flood could have been utilized in a much better way for a better story. Like, when they're like, oh, now we have a cure, so the flood is basically, like, fucked. And I'm thinking, well, what about if the flood reform as the precursors and the return of the precursors happen?
That would be awesome.
That would be
love
much
to see
better.
A story with the precursors.
Yeah. Because the precursors are interesting because they can shape and form into beings that you don't recognize. And
very much like Cthulhu.
Yeah, exactly. And could you imagine the Revenge of the Precursors, and like they come back, and because humans aren't forerunners, they don't know what precursors are because the forerunners are the ones that wiped them out. And humans see these giant monsters, but the giant monsters, instead of like, because originally they were like, humans are going to be the ones to take the mantle, but now the precursors come back and like, we want to completely wipe everything out now because we know what humans are. The flood infected them, so we know what they're actually like. Now we want you all to die. That would make more sense. Like, let's restart this entire civilization. Let's restart the universe. And the precursors come in and just fuck everything up. It'll be a whole different war with unique monsters that can change.
Cool. That would be really cool. I'd love a precursor war.
That would be sick. You can have all sorts of different enemies that comes in ranges and sizes. You know, be flexible and scary, and then they can make a Halo back into like a horror theme, which would be fun.
Yeah,
because the flood were like they were scary in Halo 1 and 2.
They were absolutely
Halo
were like dark
3. They weren't
corridors,
as scary, but
enemies.
I think the reason why in Halo 3 they weren't as scary is because they didn't make it as horror themed as they did 1 and 2. Because like in the maps were a lot more light, more lit, and they were more gross looking than they were scary.
Yeah.
But no, I think they really missed opportunity on that one. But,
there was so many. I remember. Yeah, there's so many little tiny little moments in Halo 4 and 5. I'm thinking like that could have been so much bigger.
Yeah,
if they just didn't. If they just knew how to write stories, that would be a lot better.
Yeah, they can't write stories for shit, eh?
No, they can't. They're really, really bad. Yeah. Storytelling is a fucking art form for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, they I don't know. They just don't know how to do it right. But even like with the games, they copy too much of how other games work. I think that's the problem with Halo. Their strength.
Yeah, that started in Halo 4. They wanted to copy Call of Duty.
Their strength. Halo's strength was Unreal style. Because Unreal Tournament was a really big game back in the day. And I think that a lot of people these days don't even know what Unreal Tournament even is.
I actually played Unreal Tournament 3 when I was a kid. And it had AI. It was from the 1990s and it had AI.
It did. And the AI were actually pretty good too.
Yeah, they were.
They were hard. I won several competitions in Unreal Tournament.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I loved Unreal Tournament. It was fucking sick. I played...
Cool.
What was I playing? My character is a Grim Reaper.
I don't remember. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I can't remember. But I like the idea that you start off with a base shitty gun and you have to run to get the good guns. That's a fun play style because it's skill based, not rock. Like it's skill rock paper scissors based, and I like that. Like the sniper rifle trumps at shotgun at long distance, but the shotgun trumps sniper rifle at short distance.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. I like that. And early Halo was really good with that, and then they just decided to follow COD, and then they added sprint. And they added that roll stuff in. I mean, they started it with Halo Reach, but Halo Reach was different because it was like abilities that you got. So you didn't necessarily have to use them, and they weren't that great. Like the sprint, you weren't really that much faster. So like,
no, you actually weren't. I was kind of devastated when I learned how slow sprint actually is.
Well, Halo 3 was better because your base speed was actually like you could run away from people.
Yeah.
Because you're always running, which makes sense because in real life you would always be running when you're being shot at.
Yeah.
So you don't exactly just like walk around, and a Spartan isn't exactly stealth. Like,
no, I reckon it'd be very difficult to pull off a stealth mission as a Spartan.
Yeah, because like every time you walk, you hear doo 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 doo.
Yeah.
As your fucking 1.5 ton fucking suit of armor walks.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking. Yeah, they just companies need to stop looking at others and just look at themselves. What works for you and stick with that. Because that was the one thing that I think Battlefield failed with, is because Battlefield started off like a great system where you would run to your like you'll all race down and chase your ships. Then you would get in your vehicles or your tanks or whatever, and then you go off. And that was so much more fun than now, where you like you get a certain amount of kills and you can just spawn in,
call in care packages.
Like it was more fun like running to a jet and taking off without getting blown up than it was like to just simply spawn in it while you're in mid-flight.
Yeah, I'm a really lazy person, so I'm 100% infantry, so I can't be bothered getting into a vehicle. So I'm always just with me. When I was playing Battlefield 3 all the time, it was just me and my FAMAS.
Yeah,
which I know I'm mispronouncing, but I don't care. I had 1,500 kills with that gun.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I used it all the time. It was my favorite.
My favorite one was the Scar. That was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because that's a pretty reliable gun, actually.
Yeah. Yeah,
I loved the high bullets per second.
Yeah.
With the FAMAS, and whenever I get around a corner, I see someone there, just shoot them, they're dead.
Yeah.
There's one guy. There's gonna be like a little bit of a fucking. There's one guy I was friends with who said like, "Oh man, I'm really good with the spaz." I'm like, yeah, everyone's good with the spaz.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just I'm looking at who to raid into. I've sent you 2 streamers that I'm kind of interested in raiding into. What do you think is the best out of the 2 to raid into?
Well, we raided into I don't know Blunt Nate.
Blunt Nate. So he's actually a YouTuber. You would actually get along well with him because he does a lot of technology stuff, especially when it comes to audio.
Mm-hmm. Well, then we'll go Blunt Nate then.
Yeah, he also does a lot of VR stuff. He's the reason why I bought the Acer VR mixed reality headset, because he had the Dell one and he was actually surprised how well it was for the price at the time.
Yeah.
So we're going to end this stream. Thank you all, everybody, for coming. It was a lot of fun just chatting and talking about crap.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. We'll see you on Wednesday. We're going to try and see if we can get a guest in, but we'll just see how it goes. Well, what did I just do?
Yeah, for next Sunday.
Yeah, next Sunday. All right, so we're going to raid into Blunt Nate. Let's see if it works. There we go. All right, we'll catch you all next time. Hope you have a good day / night, depending where you're on the world, and we will catch you next time. See you all.
Yeah.